Well, Jeremy, we'll just start off simply. You picked Eric Anderson, Ali Saad. What you like about them?
Well, the first pick, Ali Saad, just somebody that's versatile, has versatility to play inside and outside. Played both that at Bowling Green. Very productive, physical player. That's a playmaker type defensive lineman. We're excited to get him. Powerful player that is able to shed offensive linemen and play physical. So great to add a guy like that to our defensive front. And then Eric Anderson, another guy obviously high on our board. Someone that played left tackle at Western, was two-time All-Canadian, and very athletic, has the ability to play multiple positions, and we'll add to the offensive line room. And you have to build through the offensive line, protect the quarterback. So we're excited about the guys we took.
Did you expect them both in camp?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. It's a little early, but, but we're expecting them.
Okay, they're not NFL prospects in that respect?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
no.
thank you.
One of them's going to minicamp. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I guess do you feel like you've addressed at least the biggest needs that you felt the team had going into today?
Again, as I said, pre-draft, I feel like we're in a position where we could be flexible with where we took our players, and ultimately we decided, as I usually do, stay with our draft board, and we had those guys ranked really high, and but they'll certainly come in and compete with the guys we have, and competition's a good thing.
Which one's going to minicamp?
Eric Anderson's going to minicamp.
What team?
I think the Giants. Yeah.
Did you talk to Sad tonight? Did we call him?
Corey did. Yeah.
Okay. And is he excited?
No, he's not. yeah, very excited. Very excited. We just so everyone knows, we interview these guys many times before we draft them. But he's very excited to be drafted, and we're excited to have him.
Who was at his pro day?
At his pro day was Larry Dean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's pick up where we left off. The third round select Curtis Rourke. How's that pick for you?
Yeah, obviously it's a futures pick and something that may never happen. But when we looked at the potential of having him on your team and what he would bring, and the success his brothers have and had in our league, and the fact of can you never have enough good quarterbacks, and so we thought that was the time we should take a shot on him.
How nice is it that you're in a position where you can kind of have these picks where you can wait for them, you don't need them here right away?
Yeah, I think going into the draft, as I said, I thought we were in a good shape as far as not having to pick in a particular position. We also got Nick Weed coming back, who can be considered a futures that was dinged up last year, and we have him coming back. So that's another guy that we added in the draft. And but we wanted to be aggressive, and we felt like that was the time we should take a shot.
I think the quarterback's got a lot of buzz, and Elgert might win a little bit ahead. Is that kind of where you had Rourke projected in that third round, and when it came time to pick, obviously you made the move, but is that sort of where you expected him to fall?
Yeah, we felt somewhere in there, but I can't speak from the other teams. But in our mocks, we felt like someone's going to take him eventually, and it was just a matter of when they were going to take him. And again, we felt like we're in good position where we could afford to do it at that time. And to be quite honest, someone we were thinking about picking in the third, we ended up getting him in the fourth. So we're excited to be able to make the pick and then also get our fourth.
Because Hundeby he's another guy who's you're going to have to wait, right? He's already said he's going to go back to school.
Yeah, he's told us a lot like Ryder Varga did a couple years ago with the Rams. He told us, was upfront and honest, that he was going to go back to school for a year, and he was all in on playing after that. So another guy where you can't really predict where they're going to go to or when you should pick them, but again, felt like we're in a good position. As I mentioned, we've got Nick Weed this year, and an area that we can afford to wait on a guy.
Because he's a good linebacker, and the reward that you're going to get a year from now when he has another year of experience, even at that youth sports level, is going to probably pay off when you get that guy.
He goes back and continues to develop, and thought he did a lot of great things on the field this year. He's a guy that's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can play linebacker, and also they move him around at defensive end, and even does a little bit of long snapping. So we're excited to draft him. Obviously, local kid as well, which helps. Certainly wasn't the number one determining factor, but anytime we can keep the Saskatchewan kids here, we're happy to do that.
Another one was Daniel Weave, another Saskatchewan guy. How much did his strong combine performance help with his draft stock?
Well, when you're a shorter receiver, you got to do something special, and he certainly did with his testing. As I think everyone probably saw, he can fly, and he's a playmaker, and does a lot of great things, and is a worker, and really wants to be a pro. And we asked him about his size in the draft, and how does he overcome those being a little bit shorter, and he actually pointed to Weston Dressler. Strong name to throw out there, but good on him for thinking it through. And again, he can fly. He's a guy that's just a worker, and he deserves an opportunity to play.
Over the 3 hours or thereabouts, what's it like? What was it like in your chair tonight as you go from round to round?
Yeah. You got a lot of players on there that you really like, and there's some points where they get drafted, and you're looking at them like, I wish we'd had a shot to draft them, but it's just natural. We have a lot of players that we put on our board that we like, and you're not going to get them all. You're going to make the picks that you can when you can, and you're going to explore moving up or down. And we certainly did that a couple times in the draft, but ultimately, when it came down to it, we felt like the players that were available, we wanted to stay where we were.
When you look at the body of work, but you draft 7 players that you obviously like, but was there one player that maybe you had during an interview or a situation where you were talking with them that really stood out to you, and why that was?
That's a great question. We did a ton of interviews. The guys that we picked, they would have had to do a nice job in the interview as well. Obviously, we're looking at guys that are character players that are all in, that are committed to what we're trying to do, and some of these, we drafted a bunch of different players. Some of the guys are very physical and strong. We drafted some guys that have great speed and great testing numbers. Liam Hoskins is another player that we had pretty up high on our board, and the ability to play special teams. But another guy that was a super tester at the combine, and really helped himself going to the combine. So the interviews are always fun, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Do you personally kind of take a breath now? The free agency's over, the CFL Draft, now it's just seeing these guys in camp and seeing what unfolds?
It's exciting now, because we're obviously, as we saw today, we're still working on signing some guys from our negotiation list, but this is kind of where you turn the page. It's, there's a lot of thought going into the draft, and it's on your mind a lot. So it is nice to be able to turn the page on the draft. We got a good group of players that we're excited about, and we hope that they're going to bring something to our team and also really help us achieve our ultimate goal, which is winning a Grey Cup.
Would you compare drafting Curtis similar to putting a guy on your negotiation list, just to have him, just in the off chance that he does come here, you have him and you don't have to worry about anybody else getting him? Is that sort of how that would be perceived?
I think it's a fair assessment. I think that the negotiation list, you're probably going to have 8, 10, 12 quarterbacks on there that are guys that are futures. This one's different because you have his rights, so that's the nice part of it. But for all we know, Curtis is going to go have a great career in the NFL. But if he doesn't, then there's an opportunity with us. But it's a fair assessment to say that it's very similar to those guys.
Have you guys reached out to him already tonight? And
we haven't.
Yeah, he's probably got some other things.
What was it like to draft him? Such a marquee player.
I think it takes a little bit of guts to make a pick like that, knowing that there's a possibility that you don't get him. But again, it's one of those risk rewards. I think I've shown that we're not scared to make those picks of guys that we may or may not see. Obviously, you don't want to miss too many times on those guys, and you want to restock your Canadian talent. So it's interesting. I mean, there's no one in the room that's going to argue with you when you're picking a player like that, because they get excited about the what ifs. It wasn't hesitation from everyone else. I think the guy that's got to wear it a little bit more is standing in front of you, but they're definitely not afraid to voice their opinion and tell you what they thought. We didn't have any objections, that's for sure.
How do you feel about the overall roster construction now post-draft as you head towards training camp?
Feel good about it. Again, I felt like we were in good shape as far as Canadians, and these guys were going to add to our Canadian talent. Obviously, there's a certain number of players that you can bring to camp, whether you're going to hit that number or not. I know it's a little bit of challenge with you have to make cut downs pretty early in the training camp. So whether you get to that full max number or not is kind of yet to be determined. But a lot of times this time of the year, what happens is you get some of those guys that weren't drafted in the NFL that still want to play football, and when they were pre-NFL draft they were a no, but they made it clear that if they didn't get drafted or get an opportunity to go to a camp or mini camp or be a UDFA, then they would be interested in still playing. So we'll continue to do that. We're always going to look for good players, and if we feel like there's a player that is on our negotiation list that will improve our team or come in and compete for a spot, then we'll continue to sign players.